Now we move on to the next presentation of the day, the pioneers and their successes by Mr. Bharat Khatri, Chief Digital Officer, APAC, Omnicom Media Group, India. Welcome, Mr. Khatri, and the platform is all yours.
Thank you for the warm invite, Dinal. And can I request you guys to share the screen from your end, the presentation? Cool. Thank you. So I think over the next 30 minutes, we will try to go in terms of some sort of demystification of what's happening in the OTT and the CTV space. I just joined the last panel session, so I heard a few of my industry folks and colleagues discussing about some of the challenges around pricing and how they're differentiating between OTT and CTV. So if you can move to the next slide. The whole idea of doing this next 30 minutes was first to try to understand what are the differences so that as an industry we all use the same terminology. So I was just doing a deep dive for my understanding also to understand how OTT is different from a CTV versus smart TV, addressable TV. So I thought it would be relevant for me to start the presentation on this demystifying note. So I think when we talk about OTT, again, there is a lot of confusion, but in a layman, if I have to talk about any top of the media services that we are accessing via internet across any device, whether it's desktop, mobile, is all part of the OTT. YouTube and Facebook is also part of OTT. We know that they started with user-generated content, but now we see a lot of premium publisher-driven content also on YouTube and Facebook Watch. So they are also part of the OTT, apart from some of the examples which is there on the screen, which are our top OTT premium content partners. Then we talk about CTV. Again, this is something which is bringing a lot of confusion in the mind of the buyers and the seller. That how CTV is different from smart TV. So I think if we see CTV lens, CTV is just a TV which is connected with internet. And India as a market, I think the large set of consumers are still using Fire Stick to convert their traditional TV into CTV. So any linear TV where we are using Fire Stick or Chromecast is also a CTV. The next piece is smart TV, which is again increasing rapidly, and we are seeing a big amount of demand on the smart TV side because of I think the cheap prices which is being offered to Indian consumer. Plus, I think the way most of these brands are relaunching, keeping in mind the Indian concept around pricing is also a good way to see how CTV is also the piece of smart TV going up. So from a smart TV lens, it's just I would say the TV which is actually having a built-in internet connection versus CTV where we are using Fire Stick or a Chromecast. Addressable TV is the next again lingo which most of the marketers are using. That how should I do advertising on addressable TV and how addressable TV is different from smart TV. So again, I think if we see the Airtel Extreme box or the Geo box or the Tata Sky Sync box, these are the type of a set-top box which offers you both the linear TV feeds as well as the OTT applications in a bundled manner. So this type of boxes will help us do some sort of ad targeting, which will be at a household level, behavioral level, geographical level, and we will discuss this in the next few slides, how addressable TV will shape up the future when it comes to the TV advertising in India. Because again, India as a landscape, we see quite diversified in terms of geography, pin code, ward level, households. So definitely addressable TV is also the next big thing, which we are hoping that it will drive more ROI for our current advertisers that are spending on the traditional medium. The next piece is the SWOT one. On SWOT, again, it's more about we have a lot of OTTs which charge us a subscription fees to access the content. So these are SWOT players where you have to pay. Example like a Netflix Prime. Then we have AVOD, which is advertising based, which is primarily one of the common way of I would say driving large installs and user acquisition in India. To start an OTT platform on AVOD base, a quick example is MX Player, where you can access the content for free. You don't have to pay or subscribe them. And also we see a lot of platforms in India, which is a mix of SVOD and AVOD. Example like a Disney Plus Hotstar, where some of the content is on subscription, some of the content is on AVOD environment. And then this is again a new one which is coming more from a connected TV lens, which is we call BVOD, broadcast to video on demand, where the content is primarily was built for the conventional broadcast media, which you see on linear TV, but now is being posted on OTT applications so that the user can watch the content on demand. So this is something the verbatims that we are going to use in the rest of the session. So I thought it would be easy for everyone to understand the terminologies and have a clear understanding about the ecosystem which is getting built out. Binny, can you move to the next slide? This is an interesting piece which got released few weeks back. So MRC, which is Media Rating Council globally, also talked about some differentiation so that people don't confuse between OTT, CTV, and other forms of smart TV streaming devices. So this is where Media Rating Council worked with IAB, and they have put a clear understanding both for the measurement partners as well as for marketeers who are doing buying in the space. So how they bring OTT as a larger umbrella, and like I said, OTT is just accessing content using internet on any of the devices, but they further break down OTT into how we see the OTT content when it is getting streamed on TV is part of CTV. Then within CTV, they divide it further into smart TV, which is inbuilt internet connection, or using streaming devices the way we are using Fire Stick and Chromecast, or the gaming consoles, which are also getting connected to these smart TVs. On the left-hand side, you will see the non-CTV environment where we are still accessing OTT content. So maybe we are watching our favorite IPL match on a desktop environment, or maybe watching it on a mobile or a tablet. Again, how we access this content, whether it's browser-based or an application-based. So this is a good understanding which MRC has come up recently. And again, I think it will also create a foundation for most of the buyers to understand which medium, which device are they going to buy, as well as for the measurement companies, because most of the devices have different mechanism when it comes to ad fraud, viewability, or in terms of understanding the ROI and the measurement. Vinny, can you move to the next one? This is one of the I would say like a Luma escape which you can talk about when it comes to OTT and CTV, and similar to the other channels on our digital and programmatic, I think the overall advertising platform is also fragmented here. So if I start from the left hand side, on left hand side we have the addressable TV boxes, what we talked about, which is also trying to increase the user base. And definitely the game plan is that when you access linear and your OTTs in through one device, they would have better consumer understanding, and we can do some sort of ad targeting based on households, based on your behavior, based on your location, the login data. Then we have the streaming devices, which is Fire Stick, Chromecast. They have already started offering advertising in India, and one of the case studies I will discuss how using some sort of creative innovation we used advertising on Fire Stick, and what was the ROI that the brand was able to achieve. Smart TV, again, we see quite common in terms of how the smart TV also is bringing a big ecosystem in terms of driving advertising for us. So I think we will hear good things from Prab in the next coming sessions about the Samsung TV, how Samsung TV is actually building an addressable environment on the connected TV side to do better targeting and better ROI driven campaigns, whether it's OTT content or not linear content. We also have gaming consoles now coming up. I think India as a market is now again coming back to the gaming environment. Although the gaming is still heavily being done on the mobile device, considering the type of games Indian gamers are playing, but the serious gaming is still at a growing stage, and we will definitely see PlayStation and Xbox also bringing into, I would say, a massive base, at least for a 10 to 15 million audiences who will be connecting these gaming consoles and would also be consuming advertising, which these consoles are planning to deliver. Then we also have the ad networks, which is trying to aggregate a lot of inventories through open exchange, through long tail OTTs, or by building partnerships with these OTTs at one-to-one level, so that they can create this package and offer you advertising across these OTT. And in the last, we have the streaming services, which is also offering you direct relationship, or you can access them one-to-one through programmatic, or you can club them together, which is something that we will discuss in the next few slides. Vinny, can you move to the next one? So this is how I think e-marketers consider India as a market, and definitely I'm sure you might have gone through The PwC report, which got released last year, the report created a big buzz globally, and it classified India as the world fastest growing OTT market when it comes to both video viewer as well as the time spent consumption. So on the left hand side, we can see the chart, which is our average time spent per day with digital videos, and we continue to see the growth happening. And I think the major driver, what we see from 19 to 21, is also, I would say, COVID home-bounded audiences, which naturally bounded them to watch more content sitting at home on the OTT environment. Also, I think the challenges what our broadcaster industry faced during this period. On the right side, we continue to see increase in the video viewership. So more video viewers joining our digital population. And I think the interesting fact what we analyzed was when we see a massive shift happening in tier 2, tier 3 on our digital population, the first thing which we see is a lot of traffic coming on the video platform versus any other platform like LinkedIn or an email or any news publishers. So major platform or the major traffic whenever a new guy joins the digital era in India from a tier 2, tier 3 using a mobile device is definitely going to consume more time spent on video watching. Vinny, can you move to the next one? So this is how also e-marketer thinks that a day in a life of a consumer looks like. This is although the pre-COVID era research what they did, where they think that consumer is moving into a device agnostic approach, and that's how marketers should also start planning rather than filtering out device level and planning it at in a silo approach for a linear versus OTV versus connected TV. So this is a good example how the panel research what eMarketer did in 2018, they came up with this analogy that in a pre-COVID era, most of the consumers stream live TV, live feed on the linear TV, primarily watching the news content. Then while commuting in India, they definitely use their mobile screen to watch the short form videos. I think that point of time, TikTok was a big buzz, but now if we see beyond TikTok, there are so many short form video applications that the consumers are accessing, like Takatak, Josh, Roboso, and then definitely I think the India fundamentals about during our work time in the afternoon when we try to find out a lunch break, there is some sort of content viewership which is happening on the desktop screen, so we can see the traffic up going up from a desktop point of view. And then definitely this is the space where connected TV and again the mobile device coming in, primarily from watching the content on OTT which is on demand, and people trying to filter out their favorite shows rather than again focusing on the linear streams which is available. Vinny, can you move to the next one? So this is how the current offering looks like, which I think most of the partners who will come during this session will also talk about. And in my initial catch up with most of these internal stakeholders as part of the Indian television community that we have created on OTT, I think there were some challenges what I heard from them around brand safety targeting. So I also thought, let me put down this one slide for everyone to understand that what's the current offering from our OTT environment and what's the current ecosystem looks like. So when it comes to brand safety, definitely most of the marketers have the option that they can actually do manual filters depending on what genre of the content is suitable for their brand and the target audience that they're looking in. But nowadays we have the third-party ad verification tools, which is primarily integrated with most of these OTT partners. And these ad verification tools actually help you understand whether the content is viewable or not when it is running on different devices. Primarily in-app and CTV is 100% viewable, but there are still challenges and concerns around viewability when it comes to desktop. Then there is more about ad fraud. Most of the time people think that the massive viewership, what they're seeing in the reports is not actually humans watching that content at that particular time. So these tools also help us demystify whether it was a human or an ad bot. Similarly, when we move towards targeting, I think the way OTT started, it was primarily offering the basic layer of targeting, whether it's demo, geo, interest. But nowadays, I think when we overlay different data sets, whether it's our advertisers' first-party data, where the consumer has given us the consent to showcase them advertising or to remarket them certain offers using an email ID as identifier or mobile number. I think this type of a customer match is now also becoming a good way for marketers to partner with OTTs. Plus, there are different third-party data providers like LifeSite, ZeoTap, who is also trying to offer you different cohorts of consumers based on location, based on telecom, based on their insurance, based on their car ownership. So these are different types of third-party data partners, which is also trying to partner with OTT and giving a more robust targeting option to our advertisers and marketers. Then we also have the buy types. So definitely there are different buy types being offered. Some OTTs are offering based on completed views, some are impression based, some are also offering display ads on click based buy. The buying models is also interesting because now I think when it comes to some sort of unsold inventory, we also see some of these OTT partners you can buy on biddable media. YouTube and Facebook definitely continues to be a major chunk on biddable, but rest of the OTTs also are now available on Google Ad Exchange in biddable environment. Then we also have programmatic guarantee buying model where we get a guaranteed delivery, and it's like one-to-one deal which we book between the advertiser and the publisher. Then we have PMPs, which is private marketplace, where you try to bring a mix of different publishers together into one marketplace, which is built on a supply side platform. And in this, the whole idea is when I do PMP or private marketplace buying, I don't want to actually do a unified buying, which is the next piece of buying model, which I wanted to separately highlight that India as a market is also now moving towards the advanced stages of OTT and CTV, and we are seeing more robust buyers, more advanced buyers now coming up by shifting their programmatic guarantee spends or biddable spends towards the private marketplace so that they can do a unified frequency and reduce their impression wastage, also make a better user experience rather than irritating user watching the same ad on different OTTs 5 or 10 times. Vinny, can you move to the next one? So this is how Omnicom is taking up a big leap when it comes to the OTT and the CTV environment. So at Omnicom, we have already started creating our own marketplaces where we invite all the premium publishers to be partnered on this marketplace. The marketplaces are actually built on supply side platform where we co-create a supply side seat in partnership with Pubmatic, Magnite, Rubicon, Spotex, some of these SSP partners, depending on the market stage and in which market which SSP supporting a major number of publishers. So this is how we see an approach, and why we bring this Omnicom marketplace approach is one, definitely we want to drive more media dollars towards a publisher because in a current ecosystem, if you see, this is the average industry research which was again done by PwC and a programmatic supply chain report, which clearly says that if $100 is being invested by advertiser, a publisher end of the day only gets 51. Rest is all being part of some of the tech taxonomy which we see, which is still unknown deltas that we are trying to unlock, demystify. And this is one interesting space where we as Omnicom is trying to bring more transparency in the ecosystem on OTT as well as on the connected TV side, so that we drive larger share of dollar value to our publisher. Vinny, can you move to the next one? So the whole concept of this marketplace is that on the buy side, as an advertiser, as a buyer, you will put your demand on the demand side platforms like Trade Desk, DV360, MediaMath, and through this demand side platform, we will be able to identify these relevant audiences on the marketplace across different premium publishers. And based on this one marketplace buying concept, we can actually reduce our impression wastage. And if let's say a marketer is looking to put a frequency of 4 per user during the campaign duration, and if the consumer has already seen ad 3 times on one OTT, the opportunity for him to see the ad would only be 1 when he moved to the next OTT for watching content. It would not be 4 ad experience on one OTT and again 4 ad experience on the other one. So that's how the whole idea is to reduce the impression wastage, add more value and ROI for our advertisers by bringing more efficient, cost-effective reach, plus driving more dollar values for our publishers by removing the unknown delta which is there in our overall programmatic buying things. Vinny, can you move to the next one? So overall, if I have to summarize, I think the Omnicom marketplace concept that we have built is around bringing more transparency so that end-to-end transparency is there, both for the buyer side as well as for the seller community, our publishers. We really want to drive lower media costs in terms of the tech taxonomy, because there are a lot of tech platforms where we have to invest in terms of buying, selling, optimization, measurement, attribution. Then there is whole about creating a premium bespoke inventory model. So Omnicom is looking in terms of most of the partnerships are one-to-one. So most of these OTT partners across markets, whether it's APAC, global, or India, we only focus on building one-to-one relationships so that again we drive larger dollar value towards them. And then the whole idea of bringing more brand safety, brand suitability is to protect our advertisers' image in terms of what is the content and what is the contextual where their ads is running within the OTT environment. Binny, can you move to the next one? Yeah, so I think in the interest of time, what I did, I don't want it to do the old school OTT case study where we'll talk about we got these many impressions, because OTT is still more of a top of the funnel type of I would say marketing channel when it comes to India. And most of the case studies are more around how we activate a concept, a targeting, a data layer. And while going through some of the case studies at Omnicom, I thought it would be good, interesting for you guys to go through the innovative industry first campaign which our PhD team did for the Skoda Kushaq launch in India. So Binny, can you move to the next one? So the whole idea for this campaign, which got released in the month of May, was that we really wanted to reach out to the audiences who are on connected TV watching content on OTT. But we understand based on the research that India as a market is still heavily on Fire Stick compared to the smart TV penetration. That's where I think the team came up with an idea that how can we partner with Amazon and create first in the industry and create an ad concept where the Fire Stick consumers get to witness the launch of Skoda Kushaq and how it can be more engaging. So it was a full, I would say, a roadblock type of a campaign which was being set up, and different creative units were being used to drive more engagement. So overall, based on the user experience and the overall functionality, we were able to drive around about 6 million impressions in one day with an average CTR of 1.1%, which is 37% higher than the industry standards when it comes to the CTV environment, primarily on the Fire Stick. Binny, can you move to the next one? So these are different concepts, how users were engaging with this ad format. And this is something, the stage one, what we did in India, where we use the feature rotator part of the most premium inventory what Fire Stick has. But again, like I said, 2018 is where we did the first campaign in US on Fire Stick as part of Omnicom. So again, taking that tradition, we created this concept in India. And if you can move to the next one, this is the recent one, which yeah, if you can move to the next slide, Vinny. Yeah, this is the recent one which we did in UK. So Binny, can you play the video for people to understand the entire creative concept? So this is also done on Fire Stick only within Amazon environment. But the whole idea is how we engage with user, where the user get a virtual car experience, and the user, I think you need to reshare the screen and put the video access so that you can play the video. So maybe just reshare the presentation. So the whole idea by moving to the next step in the CTV creative element was that how we give the user the experience that user gets the control, what type of features he wants to explore within the car, whether it's the interior or the exterior, and giving him the whole environment of AR, VR type of a concept. So that's what we did in UK last month. And I think once Binny is able to fix, maybe we can showcase the video, how this creative element, but just using the Amazon Fire Stick environment, we were able to drive more engagement for the consumer. So I think Binny can't see the video. Maybe I can send the Vimeo link. So the video is hosted in public space. You guys can go and search about PhD UK Skoda Amazon, and you will find the case study on drum, and you can experience how the creative element runs in. So that's it from my side, and I would open the session to my fellow panelists to take it forward.
I just wanted to ask you a question, Bharat, if I have a minute.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So you said you had a 1 point. What was the CTR?
1.1 was the CTR, which was 37% higher than the average industry CTR on Fire Stick because of the creative elements which was being brought.
And then what kind of conversions did they get from that?
So unfortunately, like I said, it's still early stage for us in India. So it's primarily top of the funnel advertising, which is driving awareness, reach, and engagement. We don't have an end-to-end attribution built in where we identify that the users who have seen or engaged with the ad, whether they have gone to the store for a test drive or have bought the car. So that measurement piece is still in the development stage in India. And I'm sure, I think I can see Prab, Neil, and other experienced fellow panelists on the CTV environment who can share more perspective about what's the future and what's there in future for us when it comes to end-to-end attribution on OTT and CTV.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one last question before we move on.
Sure.
So what's with Skoda? Are they going to expand the universe beyond Fire Stick when they go into further connected TV campaigns, or was this an experiment, or are they going to expand it further and you're going to go into even smart TVs, also going into set-top boxes? What is the plan going forward?
Definitely. So the plan is to have a always-on strategy on connected TV. So I think YouTube as one of the channel where we always see most impressions right now in India. I would say YouTube is one of the platform when it comes to CTV. So we are already doing some innovative stuffs on YouTube from the entire VW group. But when it comes to the always-on strategy, we have already put our robust plan for the rest of the season. So it is definitely going beyond Fire Stick, how we are going to partner targeting smart TV and CTV in partnership with the OTT space. Also, we realize that most of the OTT and the CTV viewership is happening on the SVOD content. So that's where OMG content team is now working, that how can we do some sort of branded content integration so that the user will just get our message, our communication as part of the content what they're watching within the SVOD environment. So
okay,
these are certain developments.
One last question. Other clients, are they buying in?
Yeah, definitely. So when we go back to clients and do some sort of on-ground research, to give you an example, we are working with Nielsen to access the purchase data. So Nielsen is collecting the purchase data at a ward level, at a pin code level from different supermarkets like D-Mart, Big Bazaar. So just imagine that if you access this data at a pin code and you identify there are certain pin codes where you see more than average sales of diaper, I think if you're getting some sort of OTT CTV traffic from that particular ward or an IP level, this is where we want to target our, I would say, ads, which is focused on moms around diapers. So this is the framework what we are building here. So most of the clients are pretty excited. We're just waiting how we see more scale coming in terms of the ad calls, and we see more content available on the AVOD side when it comes to CTV.